I'd like to welcome who I think traveled the furthest to actually be here today. Flying in from Italy, right? Debbie Levitt here is going to talk some about DevOps ICU.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Yes, I do live in Italy, but I can't fool you guys at all. I am American. So just trying something new, and it's kind of fun. I recommend it. So I am Debbie Levitt, and my company is called P-Type, short for prototype, because I build so many of those. I am a UX strategist, designer, speaker, consultant, trainer, all of the above, and I'm worried about this bottle falling over. And P-Type is my full-service UX and product design agency, and clients like to call me Mary Poppins.
No pant split yet?
What? Remember, don't take your live mic into the bathroom. Okay, just a tip. Not that that's happened to me, but oh, okay, right. At least it wasn't like that stupid woman is up there. So somebody put a minute back on my clock. So as I was attempting to say, clients like to call me Mary Poppins. I fly in, I fix everything, I sing a few songs, and I fly away to where I'm needed next. Now, this session boils my 2-day workshop down to about 30 minutes. So I like to joke that this is the minimum viable presentation. So this is, I can't cover everything I would like to tell you about DevOps and Agile and UX, but I'll get through as much as I can. And if you have any questions, it's a little bit on the bottom of the slide there. I've got the Menti poll system running just to take your questions. If you want to ask a question, you can use menti.com and code 88752. Leave me a question and your email address. I'll see it later in the day or tomorrow, and I promise to answer everybody's questions. Plus, I'll be here all day, so you're welcome to track me down. I'll be in the DevOps ICU shirt. Come see me, and I'm happy to answer questions. I also consider my presentation highly tweetable, so feel free to take some pictures of the slides and at me at DevOpsICU, or use some of the fun hashtags if you're into the tweeting thing. So let's get going. So at many companies, engineering is fed by other teams. Blueprints, ideas, designs, and concepts come from somebody who created those layouts, flows, and concepts. So, and how is the customer going to interact with the system? And these are non-engineering individuals and teams who are part of collaboration through the software development process. Engineering isn't operating in a vacuum. But too many companies are excluding or circumventing UX because they see it excluded from Agile books, maps, training, and infographics. Or they assume UX are just time and budget wasters. Or they incorrectly assume that UX just draws boxes on pages and anybody can do that. Wrong. Expert UX architects will research, design, test, and iterate on everything between someone saying, I have an idea, and let's get it to programmers to be built. DevOps is about so much more than how developers connect with IT, how infrastructure is managed, and how frameworks can be improved. It's really about recognizing how many teams are truly involved in the process and how intertwined their roles really are, and making sure everybody's at the table. Developers and engineering architects want to be involved when UX and creative teams are designing the software or system, but where's that in the current definition of DevOps? And product, UX, and creative teams want to stay involved when developers and QA and engineers are doing what they do, but so many methodologies exclude them. These are old silos that we need to break down. All your customer sees is your user experience. That's it. They don't see 1,000 developers or whether you were Agile or Waterfall or Lean. And you're a user too. And you're choosing software and systems that have competitors. What makes you choose the tools, software, and systems that you selected? And when you're using a system that you don't like, are you thinking, I wonder how many sprints that took? When something doesn't work the way you expected it to, you're probably thinking, who built this junk? And you're totally right. That's a great question. Who designed this product? Who researched with users like you to learn your habits, needs, motivations? And did anyone test this on people like you before it was unleashed on the public? UX is driven by some of the same results that DevOps wants. We're problem finders, problem solvers, product designers, and customer advocates driven by product quality and building what customers really need. We care about our teams working efficiently and getting engaging, fantastic, easy to learn, easy to use, tell everybody it's fantastic products to market as fast as possible. Enhancing this relationship saves time, money, and sanity. So what the heck is UX? User experience is the more scientific, psychological, and problem-solving side of product experience and service design. Our goals include happier, more loyal customers, ease of learning and use, shorter, more intuitive processes, and accessibility for people with mobility, vision, hearing, and other issues. Quick note about accessibility. Does anyone remember this football game from about 2 years ago when they decided to get creative with the uniforms and put one team in all red and one team in all green? The problem was this is how it looked to people who were colorblind. And Nike caught a lot of crap for that at the time, and they kind of should. How did they not know that? And how did they not take these people into consideration? So you might think UX just draws some boxes on a page when nobody's looking, but there's so many other things that are part of our job, like taking differently abled people into consideration when we're creating these interfaces. Just like software development has processes like Agile, UX has one key process that everybody uses or should use: user-centered design. And with a short session, I'm just going to hit a few key points here because this could be a long process that takes time, or sometimes we're just doing pieces of this and we can move more quickly. So when UX first gets requirements and project information, it's important to collaborate right away. UX shouldn't find out later that they designed something that engineering can't build. Among that early project discovery work, UX should work with engineering to learn about any limitations and technologies being used and what services or APIs we have and if we're going to have to build some new ones. Research is an important part of what UX does. It's not user-centered without users. Statistics and quantitative data are delicious, but there's no substitute for interviewing users, really getting to know them, and getting qualitative data. UX doesn't want to just know what, we want to know why. Information architecture has to do with hierarchy, structure, and taxonomies. This could be site navigation, and it could be how products are categorized in an e-commerce database. And if this is a little sleepy for you, this is people's jobs, and it's not your job, so good news. Interaction design is what most people think of when they think about UX. That's our wireframes and prototypes, the blueprints of the designs. These would show process flows, layouts, menus, interactions, paths, choices, and a lot more. Now it goes to user testing, which happens during our process, hint, hint, and before engineers write a line of code. We need to make sure that the idea and the execution are fantastic for our target customers. We don't want engineering to build it until we're sure this is what will be built. User testing will bring to light any early flaws, and that gives us the chance to iterate on our ideas, which send us back to the interaction design portion of our program. No names named, but in 2008, a famous tech company announced it was going to have to do a redesign of its recent redesign. Once the product was released, they found customers considered the new features clutter, obstacles, and drawbacks. Customers hadn't asked for these features, they didn't want them, need them, or like them. And the backlash was serious enough that the company blog admitted the new version was overcomplicated, lacking simplicity, cluttered, difficult to navigate, and went a little too far with some visual design choices. How much did this company spend on working on all of those concepts, having them developed and tested and deployed on multiple platforms? And now the cost to undo this and redo it? $1 million? More? Think about the time and money this company would have saved if they had pivoted or changed direction before developers wrote a line of code. UX research helps us know the target customers so well that we can tell you early if an idea or an execution of an idea is likely to be the wrong way to go. We can also create rapid UX prototypes that we can take to testing on real or archetypal customers and learn if it's likely to be a match. We can know up front. There's no longer a good reason to just build it, just ship it, and find out it's a disaster. Companies can save heaps of time, money, staff resources, and customer agony by integrating the full UX process. Your UX department would have known at multiple points that this was overcomplicated, lacking simplicity, cluttered, and difficult to navigate. UX specialists should be working hand in hand with product teams early on so we can block or improve ideas that are unlikely to match the customer. Where do we fit in? You probably think we don't, but I'm going to tell you something different. So this is what your process might look like now if you don't really have anybody working in UX at your company. You have a client or product or CEO or someone with a vision who tells you, this is what we want. The developer team gets going. They build it, you test it, it ends up on staging or production, and wouldn't you know, that person with the vision now sees it brought to life and goes, yeah, you know, now that I see this, I think I want something different. Well, that means you are cycling back to, well, now what do you want? And you have to build it again, test it again, get it on servers, and go through all of that again, cycling through these rebuilds because of someone's ideas and whims, and eventually you release something live and hope that the customers don't blog angrily and hold up burning torches. But if you were to have UX in your universe, your process would look a little bit more like this. The client, product, CEO, vision person comes and tells UX what they want. UX cycles through the user-centered design process, iterating as they go. When we've got something that looks and feels good and it's getting a lot of internal approval, we can take it to testing and make sure that the users agree. Then we should have something that everybody is cool with. Now we can deliver it to engineering ready to build once. And if someone wants to change their mind, they got to come through me. You don't want to do that. No, I'm kidding. I'm cuddly. So if you want to change your mind, you've got to come back to UX. We run all the interference for everybody. This doesn't go back to you guys as a change request. So the UX process is really designed for that brainstorming, experimentation, and the ability to change your mind. And it always costs less to change your mind during the UX process than once you've fired up the developers and have all the engineering teams in flight. So the goal for my world is for you to build a fantastic vetted product once. Can you smell that? Can you smell the sweet pizza smell of building things only once instead of having to rebuild things over and over because someone is changing their mind? Yes, breathe it in. Let's talk quickly about UX and Lean, since there may be people in the room who are doing Lean or trying to. So normally I run a poll where you have to tell me, what is the minimum viable jogging outfit? I think you're all familiar with minimum viable product, but UX sometimes disagrees with product managers and engineering on how much do we build into an MVP. Non-UX roles will often tell me the first jogger is the minimum viable jogging outfit because it's viable, and if you take off the hat, it's minimal. But UX would say the middle one, since we want there to be enough features to create customer satisfaction. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Who remembers that commercial? This is especially true for the first time a customer installs your app or visits your website. Will this be enough for them to really get hooked on and enjoy? Will they think you are bad at this and you build broken things? And if people were turned off by the MVP and beta, are they going to reinstall when you come out with that new version? How often do you give companies second and third chances? That's why for UX, the V in minimum viable product is actually valuable. What's the leanest product we can build and release that the customer will feel has great value? Customers don't care if you're calling it an MVP or a beta. They will gleefully hate it, post it all over social media, and enjoy their negative attention. Now take it from Eric, Mr. Lean. He said, what if we found ourselves building something nobody wanted? And in that case, what did it matter if we did it on time and on budget? Go too lean and minimal, and you might be building something nobody wants. Your UX expert can help product and engineering prioritize features and stories to find that balance. Hey, who's ready to talk about UX and Agile? So I'm going to be using Safe Agile in some of my examples because they're a little bit of an easy target, but please know that everything I'm telling you is true for all flavors of Agile, not just specific to Safe. So once upon a, oh no, sir, you're going to want a picture of the next slide. Sir in the front. This is the before. Once upon a time, I went for Safe Agile training, 4 days of it. Yes, I'm okay. And I asked them where UX belonged, and they said, we don't know, and if you figure it out, will you please tell us? And I believe that was 2014. And I've since tried to tell them, and they don't write me back, so there's no love there. But if you check their website now, UX now gets a little cycle icon in the bottom left corner, but that doesn't tell me or anybody how to work with UX. What is UX? What are the steps you should take? Are we in the sprints? Are we on the team? Now, when I show this to people, some people say, well, Safe is a joke. Well, maybe or maybe not, but the reality is I have not yet found any Agile training or Agile book that says, here's what UX does. This is who these people are. This is why they're specialists. This is how you work with them. This is how you include them in the process. And just in case there are any trainers and consultants in the room, please come talk to me. I want to fix that. So where does UX fit into Agile? First of all, nobody puts UX in a corner. Here is where UX really lives. We're here in portfolio land, involved in what we're building, why we're building it, and prioritizing what we're building. We live here in continuous exploration, that process of continually exploring the market and user needs and working on the vision, the roadmap, and the features that will address those needs. We're here. We love customer solutions completely. It's what UX lives for. We would like to make DevOps better. We want to improve and enhance the culture. We're about decreasing failure rates, though we're thinking more on the human experience level rather than the technical bug level. We want shorter time between fixes, but we really want there to be fewer fixes. Better UX work earlier, fewer fixes later. And of course, put us on that team. One UX designer should be on the Agile team, representing all of the creative team, and that person can circle back with other creatives, which will be your graphic designers, copywriters, and some of those other people, and researchers as well. So invite your UX person to your stand-ups, retro, release planning, and any meeting or showcase where UX could be discussed. If something comes up in that meeting and your UX person didn't make that meeting, don't decide without them. Please table it, find your UX person. Please don't make decisions in your teammates' field of expertise without that person being there. Obviously, these are all tips based on nightmare stories I don't have time to tell you. So we're all over this thing. People who say UX doesn't fit into Agile or we're not sure how, usually just don't really understand what UX does and why. Because we're all over this thing and you're starting to get that, which makes you the genius hero at your company. So UX should be part of sprints, but we must often be weeks or months ahead of, certainly of kickoff. Include UX in iteration planning, but be understanding that depending upon features or stories, our time and work vary greatly. We might need to wireframe or prototype something quickly, and we can move fast on it, or this might be something new that really requires more of that UCD process, especially research and testing, and we're just going to need more time. Then include us in sprints, remembering we have to be 2 or more sprints ahead of you. And get plenty of tech stories or fixing of tech debt into the backlog. That way, if the UX is creative and cyclical process runs late, devs can truly be agile. Instead of waiting for UX, they can switch to some low-hanging fruit that product or engineering has prioritized. And of course, the key to the UX process is testing before delivering anything to engineering. That way, we're sure this is a great execution of the right idea for our customers. Research and testing in UX can be a bottleneck, so hire the right number and types of UX specialists. I recommend 1 UX architect for up to 3 projects, depending upon their size, and a UX researcher to support up to 3 UX architects. But if you have what we call a T-shaped UX architect who also specializes in research, testing, and some other things, you might not have specialized researchers, but then don't give your UX person so much because they're doing more tasks. Let's say your specialized database programmer is a bottleneck right now. There are too many stories looking for his specialization. What do? Well, solutions might include pair programming, creating a skills matrix so work can be better balanced in the future, and maybe you let teammates do some exploratory testing to get feedback earlier. Maybe you add another developer to the team. Can't say exactly what to do. But do you know what isn't suggested in this scenario? We don't expect the specialized programmer will teach his specialty to other people on the team. But I read a book about Scrum that said, your UX person's probably going to be a bottleneck. Have her train everybody on the team on how to do her job. Well, let's think about that a moment. I'm your UX teammate. I'm on your team. I did some basic programming in the 70s. I've got an eye for programming. I've got a feel for coding. I've got spirit and enthusiasm. Would you like to teach me some Python because you're a little backed up right now? Should I go take a 3-day boot camp so that I can code on our project? You like that idea, right? So all of a sudden, this doesn't sound like a great solution, does it? Expecting training from UX to other people hurts productivity, hurts efficiency, product, and culture because UX is being told once again, anybody can do your job. It hurts. I hear this too much. So if you wouldn't suggest it of your non-UX workers, don't suggest it of the UX workers. And let's remember our Agile Manifesto principles because there are some relevant ones here, like our highest priority is to satisfy the customer. This is about how valuable, delightful, easy to learn, easy to use, and life-improving this product is. How about Principle 5? Give motivated individuals the environment and support they need. Trust them to get the job done. UX needs that and isn't getting that now at many companies. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. I say don't make it good, make it great design. Your customers will thank you. Principle 10, simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. When UX kills or changes features, we're often seen as the bad guys, but engineering should support our efforts to create less work for you by creating simpler features or fewer features, or eliminating projects that are wrong for the company or team to undertake. Like this horror story from one of my jobs at a company I won't name. I was asked to rip off our competitors' shopping filters. That's a great start, right? I was asked to rip off our competitors' shopping filters because the product manager found that 21% of mobile users weren't adding filters to their search results. And I said, well, show me more data. Are these people then not buying? Are they spending less? Are they complaining? Where's the problem here? And they never got back to me. They just magically spun up this project. And I said, we shouldn't be building this. It's got no customer value. And when the interface simplification project spins up next year, I bet they're going to remove this, and this will have been a giant waste of money. It was built, it was live on the site, and then the interface simplification project got to these screens and it was removed. That was 6 months of a cross-functional team's entire budget that was completely flushed. And so I want to remind people, simplicity and maximizing the amount of work not done. If a UX person is showing up and saying, this isn't a good idea, it doesn't have customer value, they're not just trying to look cool. They're trying to help you out. So we can measure how it's working, because I bet we have a room full of people who like to measure things and have data. So without customer satisfaction, you might not have customers. If you like quantitative data, we can measure how improving your processes by integrating UX has made positive changes. Look at your customer service, call center, and social media. Are you seeing fewer complaints, better app reviews, higher app ratings, fewer support tickets, fewer call center calls, and more positive semantics of social posts? These are happier customers, but probably also saving you money by not burdening your support people. How about more app installs and fewer uninstalls? Average order value, is our customers spending more, or are they spending more often or more likely to convert? And each of these is measurable as well. How long do stories, projects, and epics take now versus after your very exciting UX revolution? I'd also imagine that developer time estimates get more accurate when they can work from blueprints provided by UX rather than trying to estimate from stories or descriptions of features or whatever you're doing now. And if UX is providing blueprints and wireframes and prototypes and those are being followed, we're hoping engineering has less work by reducing surprise changes. Internal communication and culture are measurable, but that's going to be mostly qualitative or anecdotal. So you could always set up a survey asking people, how's collaboration going? How's you working with UX going? Do you feel more efficient? Again, these are more feeling questions, but if you want to turn them into something countable, then you need a survey. When you're making organizational and process changes, sometimes things get worse before they get better. So what's the very short version of what might be going wrong? Well, are we even building the right thing for customers? Is product collaborating with UX on what features, stories, or products to build? Are we allowing UX to kill or alter ideas during initial planning and treatments? Is UX being overruled, circumvented, or excluded, which has been the story of my life at very famous companies in San Francisco? Make sure you're empowering and including UX. Don't let others do this specialized job. And make sure you allot time and budget for user testing. This can help you know before devs build it if the idea or execution are poor. And finally, who are we hiring or giving the UX work to? Very often I see companies deciding we can go cheap, we'll just get a junior graphic designer. I have 40 slides I don't have time to show you on why that's a poor idea. So who's doing that UX work? Juniors, artists, non-specialists, non-UX roles? So I'm going to try to see if I can get enough internet on this thing to run a poll. Everybody take out phones if you want to try a live poll with me. Let's cross fingers and see if this loads. And if not, we'll just blow by it and pretend it never happened. Oh, it's loading, it's loading. All right. All right, let's try this. Please go to menti.com, put in 88752. And I want to ask you, your opinion, no wrong answer, they'll pretend it's wrong later, no wrong answer, how bad are these problems for our customers? And you can kind of slide your answer for the far left side is, the customer's not going to care about this. And the far right side is, this is so bad, a really furious customer could possibly drop our company and pursue a competitor. So hopefully this is live and working. Hopefully people are filling this out, and because it's not. Oh, people! Hey! All right. Let's take a few seconds to let some more people chime in. We've only got 4, 5, 6. Come on, people! It's voting season. Let your voice be heard. $22, $26. I like this. Thank you for getting involved. Come on, let's hit 50. Let's hit 50. Whoa, now it's, flying. Whoa. Thank you guys so much for getting involved. Now, of course, you're welcome to keep voting, and I've just got a few minutes left here, but as you can see, what really affects our customers? Whatever happens internally inside your company, sure, that can affect things. But it's probably not going to make your customer leave. So yes, we need to fix internal things because eventually those can bleed out to the customer. But the first 4 things on this screen are UX matters. The last one is really kind of a DevOps issue. Are we productive? Are we efficient? And if you're not that productive and you're not that efficient, but if you put out great software, the customer might still super crazy love you. But the first 4 are UX issues, and you can see from your own answers how important they are. We can't risk this anymore. We can't risk that our customers hate us and want to leave. And on top of that, people are now seeing site performance, app performance and speed as a UX issue. People used to say, this site is kind of slow, but I love it. But now people are saying, I hate this site because it's slow. And that means that this is more and more being perceived as a deal breaker. This means as we move into 2019, our server issues, our database issues, that refactoring we keep putting off, we're going to have to move it to the top of the list because this is going to be one of those top things on the previous slide where people were mad. So I think I've got my last slide up. So this is also photo worthy because I've got a lot of URLs on here. So I suggest people take a picture of it, track down my URLs later. So again, this is the 30-minute version of a 2-day course. I welcome everybody to go check out the longer version. If you'd like to enter the drawing, I'm going to give away a video course for free. The video runs over 6 hours. Yes, it's my voice. Thank you, or I'm sorry. And But I recorded it in my super cool home studio, so I'm very proud of it. I also do some live versions online. December 3rd, I'm doing the hour version, which is completely free. And in December, I'm also doing the 2-day version completely online. You guys have a discount code for all of this. Please add me on LinkedIn. And if you think anything I have to say makes sense to your company, drag me in. I'd love to fix your issues there because you're in the ICU. And again, I don't have time to take questions. I have evil yellow light and probably someone preparing to give me stink eye, but please find me today. I'm happy to answer any questions, even if you feel like you want to tell me your evil, terrible story about the time UX ruined your life. I'm happy to hear it and tell you how we all could have done better. So again, I'm Debbie Levitt, and I hope to see everybody around today. Thanks for listening.